Hi guys, so welcome to my first one man and his dog forage of the year 2021. It's a little bit sleety with some hail, wintry showers, so a little bit cold, but we'll still see what we can find. So let me introduce you first to my dog Arlo. He's a sprocker, full of life and loves sticks. He's going to help me forage today. So walking down this lane in North Wales, first thing we see, which isn't edible, is a lot of laurel. So there's a lot of that around here. We've got ivy, moss. It's good to know all the plants that aren't edible as well as the ones that are edible. Helps you decipher things. So we're just walking down here now and seeing what we can see. So often we'll go off the beaten track a bit because that's where the hidden gems are. So we're just going to go up here now and see what we can find. So we're looking along now. We look and we start identifying stuff straight away. So the one that's often very hard to identify is cow parsley. I'm not going to go into identifying this now. This could be cow parsley, false parsley. It could be poisonous and it could be okay, but we're not going to go into that because actually once you can identify it, it's not that tasty anyway, so it's not worth the danger going through identifying it. Over here, the floor is always littered around here with dog mercury, another poisonous plant, which you can see here. So that's not an edible as well. But if I look down here, here's the jewel that we've come for today: wild garlic. Very distinct. By when you rub it leaves, you get a definitive smell of garlic. If you don't get that, it's not wild garlic. It's as simple as that. So we also have some violets coming through here, wild violets. They are edible but not amazingly tasty, so we go past those. If we look closer in here, we will see, if I can pan in, this one here. This is woodruff. Okay, slightly tobacco-y, smoky taste, makes a lovely drink, but it's very much in its infantile state, so we're not going to be picking that yet till it comes along a bit more. Another one often overlooked, the old dandelion here. Best if you can stick it under a dark place like a bucket over the top. You can force it and it makes very nice salad, which the French call pissenlit. Dandelion means I can't remember, tooth of lion or something like that. But basically the best way to do it is to force it, as we call it. Put it in a dark thing like a bucket and let it grow, and it'll grow all white shoots. So this is very much the early stages of spring. Many things are starting to come out, but they haven't really started coming out fully yet. So yeah, we're not going to find loads today. Here's one here. This is the cowslip, a member of the primrose family. Leaves are edible. Used to make a drink out of it, cowslip wine, but it is on the endangered list. So unless it's on your property and you're only picking a few, I don't recommend. Here's one starting to come out now. Hogweed, young hogweed. The young shoots, if I can find any, and they're all curled up, very tasty, cooked in butter. A little bit fluffy. If it's got really nasty spikes, then we're looking at giant hogweed, which is an invasive species, but we're pretty sure, and it's also a lot more purpley and blotchy. Pretty sure this is the common hogweed. It's perfectly edible. Some lovely snowdrops coming through, first signs of spring, nice to see. Start of the bluebells coming through here, they'll be coming through shortly, and And there's a lovely blue colour all the way through. So here we have it, wild garlic. There's a lot here, as you see, covering the beds. So it's a good amount, so this is a good place to start picking without damaging the plant. Wild garlic tends to bounce back quite easily. One that's often found amongst it is the arrow plant here. It's very distinctive, poisonous, has little red berries on it eventually. But you can see quite a difference if you know what you're looking at. Another one that's around at the moment is the lovely young shoots of some trees like the beech here. Very nutty at this time of year. Best time of year to eat them. Really is a nice little salad item with a slight nutty flavour. So wild garlic, consequently, is not from the allium family as you might imagine. Being a garlic flavour, which is usually onion related, it's from the lily family. So there's a bit of interesting information about it. So a nice little story about wild garlic is that when the Romans came to Wales originally, they saw a profusion of this item here and thought it was leeks, and so the Welsh were labelled as the leaky people when they should have been the wild garlicky people. So that's an interesting one. So wild garlic will also it'll withstand an aggressive pick. It'll keep coming back. So it's generally okay to pick quite a lot of it, as long as you're not wiping, as long as you've got a large area and not wiping it all out. The bulbs will come back. The leaves are edible, the bulbs are also edible, and the flowers, when they come out, they're edible as well. They can be floating in a nice tomato consomme or something like that. We're going to be lacto fermenting a lot of this, ready for our wild garlic pizza bread, hoping that we can serve it well into other seasons as well, because it has such a lovely flavour. So often when I'm picking wild garlic, that's when I'll notice other items on the floor as well. But today it's mostly wild garlic, and this is ivy here, as you all know, very invasive species. But so generally we've got wild garlic, bluebells coming through, the odd buttercup coming through as well, a few stalk bills, but the main one that's edible today is the wild garlic. We've got holly trees around. This generally is the terrain around here in North Wales, near Ruthin Way. So often exciting places to find species is going to be on walls. So a lot of walls are ancient and they contain a lot of plants which have been there for many years. We've got ferns coming through here as well. The tongue of the ferns, which is right down in there, is edible, fried in butter, clean it up a bit, some of the bristles, that's perfectly edible. So let's see what's on this wall. I don't think there's a lot on this one, it's just a lot of lichen and moss, some bluebells going out the top. Not really a find today. So one thing to remember about wild garlic leaves as well, they're not glossy. So if you see something glossy, generally it's not wild garlic. They're more matte in colour. This is that poisonous arrow plant, which has a distinctive glossiness, little black speckles, and shaped like an arrow. Also, a common one in gardens around here is lily of the valley, which is often a problem for people trying to identify wild garlic, but the secret is just rub the garlic. If it smells of garlic, it generally is garlic. The bluebells as well often look like three-corned leek, but they're not, unless again you rub them, and they have a distinctive oniony smell to them. So they're not three-cornered leek, which looks a lot like this bluebell, but it's not it. So another item often overlooked as it's a great item is the nettle. Tips of it picked make a marvellous cidery like drink or a cordial, or just cooked down like a spinach. Full of antioxidants, very good for you. Real superfood of the foraging world. We've also got the hawthorn coming out at the moment. Try and focus a bit better on that. It's the hawthorn coming through. The young leaves are very nutty at the moment. Very tasty as a little addition to a salad. Try and get the more see-through younger ones, and they're quite tasty. It used to be called something called bread and cheese because you used to sandwich the bud amongst the leaves and eat it for ploughmen and men of the land. Here we have another plant. Another plant here. This is herb Robert, my namesake. This, they say, dissipates a lot of the radiation, the radon from the hills. So a very good plant. It filters it through and makes it safe in the air. It's also edible, a little bit bitter. Has like these red shoots and these distinctive leaves, like funny sort of oak-shaped leaves. Another one, you'll find it a lot as a weed in the garden, but it is actually edible. Another plant here, very common around here, is garlic mustard, otherwise known as Jack of the Hedge, because it tends to jump out of hedges at you. The flowers will go white and you see them everywhere around the roads around here. It's generally used instead of minced sauce before for lamb, cut up and put with the vinegar and sugar. Very nice as a salad. You can make a nice pesto with it, coupled with wild garlic. Very nice. Here we have another one, goosegrass or cleavers, known as those sticky buds that you used to throw onto the back of other kids when you were at school. Perfectly edible, often used in the nettle cider with nettle cider. Used as a pot herb. The term pot herb means that you can cook it together with others and it makes quite a nice dish, but not terribly good on its own. And there's herb Robert in the background again, turning quite red. And we've also got a nice shoot of bramble. So in one place, quite a lot going on that's edible. Quite nice to see. Just got to look closely at the ground, keep looking, keep learning, keep reading through all the books, referencing things properly, checking all the distinct things that make the plant what it is, from smell, taste, touch. Some other species to identify, not terribly edible but are allegedly edible. Lesser celandine, often found, they say, where there were old medieval graves before. We've got a little bit of speedwell coming through here. Again, not edible, but good to identify. And here's the start of the brambles. Nice thing with the brambles is these first little shoots. I can just get that one in view. So there's the first little shoots. Try and focus a bit there. There it is. Very lovely almondy, nutty taste to them. It's gone a bit out of focus. Excuse my mobile phone not being great for these things. Oh, there it is. It keeps going in and out of focus. There it is. The young bud of the bramble. Tastes like almonds. Beautiful. So that's it for this forest today, guys. It's bye from me, bye from Arlo. And we'll see you again soon for another one. Happy foraging. Dad, somewhere in the woods there running around, having a good little forage himself for sticks. his favourite thing. There he is. So it's bye from me and bye from Arlo. He's a little bit busy to say bye at the moment.